A part of me wants to call it a societal construct that tends to look at lighter skinned people as clean, good looking and attractive.
Pressure to change my skin tone. Yes, when they started telling me I was looking darker.
Like I started using different creams to tone my skin.
Statistically, 77% of Nigerian women are the highest consumers of skin bleaching products in the world.
Representation matters because there is this flaw in human beings to judge by appearances. So as long as that flaw remains, there will always be the need to have conversations on why you should not judge by appearances.
At some point, you get to realize that the world would literally pick something wrong with you either ways.
I tried to apply to some modeling companies to be a model for them. I was quite slender at the time, but they made me understand that I was not very light-skinned.
Well, lighter and darker skin are still being judged because of the society.
I want to also call it a colonial mindset, but I choose not to call it that. I'm open-minded to the fact that I could not be.
You know, you just get to that point where you realize that healthy skin is not about the shade.
My skin, if you could speak.
It probably start with your trial.
My name is Emanuela, and one word I would use to describe myself, cool. Just cool. It's a cool.
My name is Shikemi Olua, and one word I would use to describe myself is purposeful.
My name is Edikan David, but I'm popularly known as Eddie. And one word I would use to describe myself is intentional.
My name is Toyin, and one word I'll use to describe myself is calm.
Hi, my name is Oluwapelumi Adeton, and one word I'll use to describe myself is evolving.
Someone that likes to put in the work. Literally, like that's basically what it is. I like to put in the work, and when I look in the mirror, that's all I see.
When I look at myself in the mirror, what I see is strength beyond my skin tone. I see strength, yeah.
Well, I see growth, I see confidence, I see resilience.
A strong woman, a woman who has come really far, a woman who has been through a lot, but is still standing strong.
When I look at myself, I just see a baby girl. I see my mother's eyes. I see my father's stubbornness sometimes. And I just see the determination to become something that's very beautiful. And I also see someone that's trying to forgive herself for lack of knowledge growing up, and for also someone that is learning to become more gentle with herself.
I'm not even going to lie, beauty meant intelligence. I remember one time when I was in secondary school, my friends may have implied that a boy in class that was good looking, by the way, but unintelligent, liked me. And I cried because he did not have sense in that sense. So beauty had always meant someone that was quite intelligent to me. And so growing up, intelligence was beauty.
Growing up, beauty meant curves and charisma to me.
Oh, beauty for me meant external. You had to be light-skinned, you had to be slim, your tummy, your belly had to be flat, and your skin had to be spotless. So growing up, that's what beauty meant to me.
Growing up, beauty meant being skinny, being light-skinned, having long hair, and basically being privileged.
Trying to feel normal, like feel like everyone, fit in, be fresh, look like my world was perfect, basically. Yeah, I think that's what beauty meant to me. My brows had to look like normal brows, not be too airy, but be fresh in terms of complexion sometimes, yeah.
When was the last time I was aware of my skin tone? I would say it was after a job that put me under the sun for like a couple of days. I realized, I was about to have my bath and I just looked into the mirror and I realized my skin tone was like 2. I was looking light and dark at the same time, and it just clocked to me that I have an uneven skin tone. And yeah, I think I became very aware that I don't even know my skin tone is, if I'm light shade or dark shade or albino or whatnot. It just clocked to me in that moment.
The first time I became aware of my skin tone was when I think I was in primary school then. We had a new teacher and he asked me what my name was. And I said Shikemi, and he was like, you don't look like a Yoruba girl because you're fair, you look Igbo. That was the first time I became aware of my skin tone.
I would say in the university, I didn't know that skin tones, affected some parts of our lives, but if you were not very light-skinned and not attractive, you would not get favors and all of that, so yeah.
The first time I became aware of my skin tone, I think I was between 10 and 12, and one of my mother's friend's daughter commented on how my legs looked because I was wearing shorts. And then I didn't understand what she meant because she was asking me what cream I used. And as a 10-year-old girl, I didn't understand why she was asking me that. But then after that, I began to understand why she asked me and yeah, that was the first time I became aware of my skin tone.
First time I became aware of my skin tone, I would say, I can't exactly remember the age, but I remember my family members came visiting and they were like, oh, you are now darker, or like, Kilo Share, what's stressing you? Why are you black? You are not a black child. Anyways, yeah, I think so. Then I started to like be more conscious of okay, what's actually my shade and what do I look like?
Anyone ever made me feel different because of my complexion? I can't think of any person that has made me feel that way. I don't think, they might have tried, but I don't think it has registered in my head as someone would do that to me. I never regarded it. So they might have tried, it's just not in my head because it doesn't bother me.
Nobody really made me feel different about my complexion. I can remember just one or two I have vague memories of one or two, but I was unbothered, really.
Yes, companies. I tried to apply to some modeling companies to be a model for them. I was quite slender at the time, but they made me understand that I was not very light-skinned. I was just in the middle. I was like, according to them, I was caramel skin tone. So they needed a very light-skinned model. So they looked down on my skin tone and it made me feel very bad. And I almost even started bleaching my skin just so that I could meet their standards.
Growing up, I've always wanted to be a model. And most times when I go for auditions, they start to ask that they want light-skinned girls, and I was too dark and I didn't get the job. So it made me feel like I was not wanted. It made me feel like I didn't belong.
You know, I would say that growing up, I was part of those that were sometimes privileged because of complexion. But, you know, when you meet people that are like better than you in terms of how the skin glows or the shade of the skin, there are certain places you can't get to because they are better people, basically. So, well, relative-wise, nobody, but maybe from school, yeah, secondary school, I think.
Skin tone, no. Skin texture, yes. In terms of dry skin and hairy skin, yes. But skin tone, nah. I'm black and yeah.
Not at all. I have never felt the pressure to change my skin tone to fit in.
Oh yes, I have many times, but not anymore.
Yes, I've definitely felt the pressure to change my skin tone to fit in. Like, I started using different creams to tone my skin from the color it originally was.
Pressure to change my skin tone, yes. When they started telling me I was looking darker, which was most likely because I was always walking in the sun to school, I started to like explore, like, okay, what can I use to always look fresh and not look like I was going through life, which was absolutely normal.
A part of me wants to call it a societal construct that tends to look at lighter skinned people as clean and good looking and attractive, and darker skinned people as dirty or stained or unattractive. I want to also call it a colonial mindset, but I choose not to call it that because I don't have enough. I'm open-minded to the fact that I could not be, but that is a mindset I have in my head and I could be wrong. But I genuinely think that it's a social construct where lighter skinned people are deemed cleaner, more attractive, and I think it's rooted in a colonial mindset.
I think lighter and dark skin complexions are judged today because human beings have this vulnerability to judge by appearances. So as long as there is this thing to judge by appearances, I think there will always be that judgment. Yeah.
Well, I think in one word, attractiveness. So naturally, when we see people who are light or dark skinned, they look more attractive. There's this, in quotes, glow. And if you are not light or dark, extremely light or extremely dark, it feels like you don't fit in, feels like you're confused, like your skin tone is. And that is my own opinion about why those set of skin tones are being chosen in our society today.
Well, lighter and darker skin are still being judged because of the society. People are still like having that mindset that your skin tone actually defines who you are, which isn't true at all.
As an African, I mean, we all know that we're colonized and stuff. So I would say that it's probably something that's been passed down unconsciously. And I mean, we know how it is when you see like a foreigner. It's just something that we unconsciously do when you see somebody that is like mixed. You just start to like, oh, where are you from? And all those like interests. So, well, I would say that is something that lack of knowledge has also contributed to. So I feel like the more we get to know that what you look like is actually like a normal shade, the better things become for every shade of person or every color.
A moment I started loving my skin was the moment I had other things to think about. To be honest, I feel like when I started worrying about more things in life, I genuinely was not exactly bothered about my skin anymore. I just wanted to look good, and looking good would mean putting in the work to look good. So wherever my work landed, wherever the putting in the work got to, that was where I stopped. Like, I was not ready to stress further. So yeah, I started loving my skin the moment I had better things to worry about.
There was not one particular moment I started loving my skin. Like, I became aware that I was just light, and then I would say I've just always taken it for granted I have this skin color, so it's just there for me.
I think my mindset, I had to train my mind. I'm someone who, when I don't let things get to me easily. So I had to train my mind about that particular thing, that no matter the comments I get about my skin tone, it doesn't determine who I am. And I think when I did that, I started getting compliments about my skin tone, about how clear my skin is and how people want my skin. And that made me feel a lot better. So I think my mindset helped me carry myself with so much confidence and grace. And that allowed me also choose this kind of skincare I wanted to use for myself and make my own skin tone better by, reducing the dullness and all of that in my skin. But this helped me carry myself with so much grace and confidence, like I said earlier, and made people love me better.
Well, I realized that this is the skin I have. Like, this is the skin I was born into. So I had no choice but to just love my skin tone, how I looked.
Was there a moment? I would say quite recently, actually, because you just get to that point where you realize that healthy skin is not about the shade, and you basically just start to focus on the basics. Is my skin hydrated? Is my skin, are my pores better? and then you realize that that's basically what matters. It's not about you looking a shade brighter or you looking a shade darker. Dark circles can be normal, but then it might not be because of your shade that you have dark circles. And there are a lot of other things I'm basically learning, and I would say that I'm more comfortable in my skin right now.
Self-love, what does self-love mean to me? It would mean, I genuinely believe love is respect. So I think self-love would mean also respecting myself and understanding that I'm created in the image of God, and this is how I've been born to be. I'm Black and I love myself the way I am. I respect myself enough to know that.
Self-love, to me, self-love means acceptance and allowance. By acceptance, I mean like just accepting yourself the way you are, and by allowance, I mean giving yourself a margin of space to make errors and grow.
Self-love to me means acceptance and being unapologetically you, and just accepting who you are basically and being confident about it.
If you would ask one of my friends, he would say when I'm overwhelmed, I just like play music, very soft music, go into the bathroom, put on my colored lights and like have like an everything shower. Girls know what I mean. And yeah, I would say self-love to me is choosing myself. Self-love is being kind to myself while being kind to others. Self-love is choosing boundaries. Self-love is realizing that you can't give what you don't have. And if you do not like care about yourself, it will be very hard for you to see the world in a good light, basically.
How important is representation of my skin tone to me, and why the conversation of colorism is important. As a person, representation may not exactly mean anything to me. I don't care to be represented. I represent myself enough, and that's fine. But for the sake of other people that live with the struggles, I would not invalidate their struggles. I would say the conversation is important, especially because in this part of the world, I'm in Nigeria. In this part of the world, darker skin tone people get to face a lot of, uncalled for insults for the mere reason that they are dark skinned, and they get to be preferred over, or less preferred rather, over light skinned people. Light skinned people equally face their fair share of, the brutality of colorism. And I would say it is really important to have this conversation so people know where we stand on these, issues of skin tones. But as a person, I couldn't care to be represented. I'm enough.
I think representation matters to me because you cannot do life alone. Generally, you cannot do life alone. Whatever skin color you have, you're going to be issues around it, and you need a community to walk you through that process of maybe accepting yourself or defining your skin tone, something like that. And I think representation matters because, like I said earlier, there is this flaw in human beings to judge by appearances. So as long as that flaw remains, there will always be the need to have conversations on why you should not judge by appearances.
So I believe representation is everything, because the way our young folks are going, like if we do not have that mindset right now that colorism shouldn't affect the way you are being seen or being presented, it would affect a lot of things. It would affect a lot of people's confidence. So right now it is everything, I would say, I guess.
Well, I believe the conversation about skin bleaching and skin tone these days really needs to be put out there, because, well, I wish I had this kind of movement when I was growing up, because it would have saved me a lot of heartaches and skin issues. But I didn't have that. So now I believe younger girls these days are really lucky to have movements like this.
Like I said, growing up, I used to feel like I had to be either warm yellow, light yellow, or if you are dark, if I was dark, I was suffering, I was facing stress. But growing up and learning a lot of things and seeing more people in my shade of skin, made me realize that I was normal, and it was normal. So when you can relate to somebody, you feel more comfortable. And I believe that's what representation actually can do.
I think it's really, the word would be inspiring. I think it's inspiring to me to realize that the topic of skin tone, even though it has not been a thing of bother to me, is something that a couple of people put together to ensure that, to realize, or a couple of people have realized that this is a topic of importance, and they have tried to involve persons like myself to have this sort of conversations. I like to be a part of it. I enjoy that and being a part of it, seeing that it has brought light to my understanding of, skin tones. For someone that has been very nonchalant about it because I could not be bothered, I realized that the fact that I'm not bothered does not exactly mean it is not important. It is important, and every part of, self-confidence needs to be pushed out. And, skin tone is just one of the many ways we can acknowledge that people should be confident in their skin, in themselves, I beg your pardon.
I feel glad because it's meaningful, something that brings direction and something that helps people see themselves in a positive light. I feel glad about being part of something like that.
Ethereal is the word. I'm a content creator, and my content is based on beauty, wellness, and lifestyle. So being part of something that already I'm a niche of is everything to me. I am more than blessed to be part of this.
Well, it feels warm. It feels like I finally found like a community, and I'm a part of like a big movement that's going to help young girls out there.
It makes me feel like an icon. Let me explain why. So, if I had somebody that made me feel normal, I would have probably not tried certain things I did with my skin then. And now for the generation that's coming, they're able to see things clearer. They have more knowledge. I mean, this initiative is doing that. So being a part of this is actually like a big movement. It's something that is worth celebrating, and I'm proud to be one.
I'm tired. My skin could speak. It's definitely say I'm tired because I don't think I put a lot of work into my skin. For someone that likes to put in the work, I put just enough work to make sure my skin looks healthy. I'm not looking for a glass skin. I'm not looking for anything. And then I'm not consistent with the kind of products I use to preserve my skin. I just try out new things according to my budget. So yeah, my skin tone would definitely say I'm tired. Are you doing this or are you not doing this?
My skin would say, stop paying more attention to me.
You would say I'm a rich babe because I pamper it so well.
My skin, if you could speak, it would say thank you. My skin would say I'm proud of you.
If my skin could speak, it probably start with a more, trial. But then, my skin has done a lot for me. As the largest organ, it has healed me, it has protected me. I've had like a lot of falls, lots of injuries, but like this skin comes back, and it's not coming back with, it tries its best to even heal my scars, like make me not know that, okay, this thing happened in this place or something. So I think my skin would just want me to carry on as I am right now, which is choosing health and not being bothered about what anybody thinks about its shade or something.
Again, it will mean giving myself the respect I deserve in terms of taking care of myself, acknowledging that this is my skin. The wise creator, being God, did not make a mistake. So I love that I am black, and self-love will mean accepting my skin tone and respecting myself for who I am.
Loving myself would fully look like evolving, yes, because I believe this is not the best I can be. I believe I can be better. I believe I can do better. So being in that state of progress to me is loving myself.
Loving myself would be extremely selfish, not caring about what people think about me, not caring about what the world says, being myself, as far as it makes me solely happy, I think that would do.
Loving myself would look like becoming my own safe space, staying hydrated, taking care of my body, loving myself, basically.
I would not in any way invalidate the struggle. It is a struggle, and I will not in any way invalidate that. However, I would say that at some point you get to realize that the world would literally pick something wrong with you either ways. For many people, it may not even exactly be an influence of the world. It could just be an internal struggle you are having. I would say that respect yourself enough to, or love yourself enough to respect yourself, and give yourself that grace and empathy. It will take time, but just give yourself that grace that there's literally barely almost nothing you could do to alter your skin except you want to go, the surgical way. But there is literally nothing is wrong with you. Simply and truly, nothing is wrong with you. You're not crazy for being dark skin or light skin. You're not crazy for being an albino. You're not crazy for nothing is literally wrong with you. The world will be fine.
The message I would give to young girls is to accept themselves early, so you don't make mistakes the consequences are irreversible. So learn to accept yourself early, because at the end of the day, you find out that the anxiety, everything, it was needless, because you are you, and at the end of the day, you have just yourself.
Silence the noise.
They have to accept themselves. Like, that is the skin you're born into. That means you deserve to be in that skin tone that you have. So you have to embrace it, because that's you. You have to love yourself just the way you are.
What message would I give to young girls struggling with their skin tone? I would say you are not too anything. You are not too dark. You are not too light. You are just you. And your shade is there for a reason. If it was not meant to exist, I don't think you would have that shade that you have on right now. And just see yourself as beautiful always, because you are designed maybe you are designed to actually teach people what it feels like to be in your skin. Just see yourself as a part of the journey to get in there.
My shade is dark, and I am beautiful because I love myself, and I was created by God.
My shade is light, and I am beautiful because I exist.
My shade is light, and I am beautiful because I'm whole.
My shade is caramel, and I'm beautiful because I'm me.
My shade is caramel, I guess, and I am beautiful because I feel like I'm a mixture of a lot of beautiful shades. Yeah, so I think that's all for me.